Welcome to Marsden Point Terminal. This is a dangerous goods site which is jointly owned by the 4 major oil companies and managed on their behalf by WASL. This site supplies 1 million litres per day to the Greater Northland region. The terminal area at Marsden Point is a Customs Controlled Area, CCA, which means a secure and controlled environment where activities are monitored or conducted by Customs. Our health and safety policy seeks to eliminate all situations which could lead to personal injury, occupational illness, damage to the environment, damage to equipment or product loss. Commitment to this policy applies equally to all WASL employees and contractors working within the terminal. Entry to the terminal is subject to strict site entry rules. Failure to observe these rules may result in disciplinary action. Due to the flammable goods stored on the site, it is critical that fire risk is minimised. No matches, lighters or equipment that could generate a flame or spark are permitted outside the admin building without a safety work permit. Anything that has a battery, connects to power or can create a spark or flame, such as a power tool, mains or battery, cell phone, pager, camera, vehicle radio or RT, is not to be used outside the admin building unless approved by a WASL Hot Work Permit. No threatening or aggressive behaviour or driving is permitted. This is one of the things that can result in banning from the site. 24-hour video surveillance operates throughout the terminal and in the loading bays. All personnel should be aware that the video material may be used to determine responsibility in the event of an incident. Stealing, vandalism or deliberate damage to equipment will result in disciplinary action. All vehicles on site and tanker operators must observe a maximum speed of 10 km per hour at all times and 5 km per hour when entering the gantry. Pedestrians must give way to vehicles. Be alert for unauthorised entry to the site. Ensure you stop your truck just inside the entry gate and outside the exit gate to enable the gate to fully close. This prevents unauthorised vehicles, cyclists or pedestrians tailgating on your entry or entering through the exit and bypassing the site entry rules. Observe normal rules of the road at all times. Stay on sealed roads and follow directional arrows and traffic signs. Always be alert for pedestrians, cyclists and other road users. Do not park near fire hydrants or on broken yellow lines. Even if the truck park is empty, you must drive only on the marked driving lanes. Shortcutting across empty parks creates a hazard for pedestrians, cyclists and other site users and is strictly forbidden. When parking your truck, use the 30-minute temporary parks in front of the admin building. To collect your bill of lading, you may leave the truck in the gantry for a short time. The rest of the time you must remain with your vehicle. Only vehicles that are displaying a current safe loading pass will have access to the site. The fire alarm at Marsden Point Terminal, both for the outside area as well as the admin building, is a rising and falling tone, interrupted with an evacuation message. If you are in the admin building when the alarm sounds, follow the standard evacuation procedure. Doorways and gates will automatically unlock in the event of an alarm. A test alarm is carried out at 10 a.m. every Monday. If you hear an alarm at any other time, or if the Monday alarm continues for longer than 30 seconds, you must respond. Failure to respond to a fire alarm will result in disciplinary action. If loading in the bays, disconnect and walk to the assembly point outside the admin building. If you're elsewhere on the site with a vehicle, do not drive off-site. Leave your vehicle with the keys in the ignition and proceed by foot to the nearest assembly area. Remember to turn off your master switch first. The main assembly area is in the admin car park. Do not return to the site until instructed to do so by WASL staff. In an everyday context, know exactly where to find fire extinguishers. Know how to use them and know how to raise the alarm. Familiarise yourself with the evacuation routes. High safety standards are expected of every driver operating on the site. Report all defects, safety hazards, product spills, accidents or incidents to the control room or a WASL staff member and to your own company. There is no such thing as a silly question in this industry. A zero product-to-ground spill prevention program applies on site. Product to ground must be viewed as undesirable, unwanted and unacceptable. WASL has zero tolerance for all leaks and spills. Report all leaks and spills, even minor ones, so that the spill can be cleaned up and action can be taken to ensure that the same situation does not occur again. There is no penalty for leaks and spills themselves, but failure to report could lead to disciplinary action. Any minor drips in the loading bays must be hosed away to prevent underfoot slip hazards. Always get permission from the controller before using the hose. Good housekeeping in the gantry is essential to a safe working environment. The vapour unit, or VU, is designed to remove toxic vapours from the environment at the point of loading. Ensure you're familiar with its operation. Most spills occur when draining the hose trays into the bonded buckets and into the slops and hose draining tank, or during unauthorised use of bonded buckets instead of the suck-off hoses, closed slop system. A spill over 10 litres will require the driver to emergency shut down the bay and walk to the reception area. A WASL controller will take over control of a large spill. The 8 golden rules of safety apply specifically to drivers in the following ways. All drivers are assessed before being allowed to work alone on site. This assessment allows them to work without a work permit. All energy systems are to be isolated. Turn off the master switch on your truck when parked in the truck park or before loading in the fill shelter. Look out for any sign of ground disturbance. Don't drive into any holes. Climbing on tank tops is prohibited, as the top of your tanker is over the 2-metre height restriction. You may only work on top of a truck that is fitted with operating pop-up rails. Also, a valid work permit is required. Any breakdown or vehicle repair needs to be communicated to the control room. Remember manual handling principles when lifting, pushing and/or pulling. Always wear a seatbelt and do not exceed the speed limit. The WASL rule is that if your vehicle is in motion, you must be wearing a seatbelt. Remember handbrake off, seatbelt on. WASL will inform you of any changes on the site that may affect how you do your job. Remember WASL's Take 5 policy. 1. Stop, step back and observe. Take a few moments to consider safety before carrying out a task. 2. Walk through the task. Mentally go through the steps required to perform the task safely. 3. Identify any possible hazards. 4. Control and communicate the hazards. 5. Carry out the task safely. Minimum safety clothing for all personnel when across the blue line outside the admin building is safety footwear with covered caps and no exposed steel and fuel-resistant soles. Lace-up ankle-length boots are required if working away from formed pathways or roadways. Neck to wrist to toe high-vis day-night overalls. Approved safety glasses. Approved high-vis vests can be worn over non-high-vis cotton overalls and raincoats. Only WASL-approved high-vis may be worn on site. Wear PPE helmets. Gloves must be available for use once over the blue PPE line. They must be fit for purpose, for example impervious for product handling activities. Protection from the sun is also important. Wear sun protection cream during sunny periods. Visitors are usually people who have not been inducted into the site and have not been issued with a permanent access card. Visitors must report to the operational employees to obtain a visitor's access card. The person they are visiting is responsible for them the whole time they are on site. Ensure your visitors use their key card to swipe in and out at every swipe point. This is how emergency personnel will know to find them if necessary. Your visitors will need PPE if they cross over the blue line outside the admin building. You must stop if signalled by a security guard, site operator or WASL staff member. Follow their directions. Site safety is in everyone's interests. You may be asked to produce photo ID for verification purposes. WASL does not issue photo ID, but accepts most forms of it. Vehicles are subject to search on WASL sites. This includes private cars. They may be searched on the way in for ignition sources and on the way out at any time to guard against theft. Any uncooperative or aggressive behaviour towards an authorised person is unacceptable at any time and will result in disciplinary action. Report any suspicious behaviour even if it is later found to be a non-event. There should never be anyone across the blue line who is not appropriately dressed. If they don't look like they should be there, they shouldn't. Report it. All tankers are fitted with a first aid kit. Most WASL staff are first aid trained and will apply the first aid and enter the incident in the first aid register. This ensures you'll be eligible for ACC. If you spill motor spirits onto your overalls, move slowly to the emergency shower and do not remove the overalls until fully soaked in water. Then remove the overalls and other contaminated clothing while still under the shower. Serious burns can occur from static electricity igniting contaminated clothing. The shower must be cold as hot water will open the pores of your skin, allowing the product to enter your bloodstream. Cold water will close the pores and the product will run off the skin. The toilet block and kitchenette are located in the admin building. Ensure your overalls and footwear are clean when entering the admin building, and if necessary, wash your hands. Hand cleaner is available in the toilet block. Tea and coffee is available in the kitchenette. There is no charge for hot drinks. Ensure you clean up any mess you have made and use the rubbish bins provided. The smoker's hut, located at top right area of car park, is the only place within the fence line that you are permitted to smoke or carry matches or lighters outside the admin building. You will face disciplinary action if you break this rule. The external smoke doors must be kept shut at all times to prevent vermin from gaining access to the building and to control smoke and fire. When both traffic lights show red and both bays are empty, do not enter the bay by foot or truck. Instead, walk around on the outside of the bay and call control from the printer hut. When the yellow light inside the bay is flashing, you may finish your current vehicle, but must wait with the loading of the trailer until the yellow light is no longer flashing. At all times when leaving the loading bays, you must wait until the green light signals that it is safe to do so. Safety starts with me. This mindset means get yourself in order first. Make sure what you are doing is safe and correct. If everyone on the site does the same, the site will be safe. So the choice is yours. Choose the mindset. Safety starts with me. Choose to carry out your responsibilities well. Choose not to rush, speed, take risks or shortcuts. Choose to take 5. Stop, stand back and observe. Choose to arrive home safe from work. Don't gamble with life. When things go wrong, they can go very, very wrong. You'll be given a site induction booklet, which includes a copy of the gantry minimum loading procedure. If the gantry procedure is changed or updated, the new version of the procedure will be provided. You'll need to know the location of all emergency equipment in the area in which you work. Be aware of the small change, big difference philosophy. It is often in the minor and everyday way that you exercise best practice that significant hazards can be averted. For example, by stopping your vehicle inside the gate, you prevent the hazards of intruders or unsafe vehicles on site. You must be familiar with the evacuation procedures and must employ them during alarm conditions. Finally, remember that you are not permitted to work in the loading bays by yourself until you've been trained by your company to do so, have been shown how to obtain your bill of lading, and have passed the final assessment by an approved WASL staff member. Remember the WASL HSE policy. It is the prime responsibility of all staff and contractors to ensure that company activities are performed safely and without harm to themselves, fellow workers, customers or the community. And always remember the WASL safety motto, HSE, it's how we do business.